death on the light rail in Charlotte just over a week ago.
Starting today, drivers in South Carolina no longer allowed to hold or support their phones while behind the wheel. That means no texting, scrolling apps, sending emails, watching videos, video calls, nothing. Not at least while you're driving. State leaders say this new law is aimed to cut down on distracted driving crashes, which is a big problem across the state.
And right now, a boil water advisory is still in place for Fort Mill and TKK. It started Saturday night due to a water main break on Highway 21 in Fort Mill. For now, officials say you should not drink tap water without boiling it first. Water samples have been sent out for testing. That advisory will be lifted once the results come back negative for any issues.
In just a few hours, Charlotte's Labor Day Parade will kick off in Uptown. Organizers say the annual event honors the hardships and accomplishments of workers here in our community. Since 1999, the parade has featured floats, vehicles, and marchers. It starts at 11 this morning and will begin at Tryon and 9th.
And real quick, the one update that we have to mention is there was an accident with injuries. This is a John Bell Freeway at the outer loop. As of right now, it doesn't really seem to be a big traffic issue just because not a lot of cars on the roads, but that's the only thing that's been reported over the last 30 minutes by the local fire department. Also, we have our 7-day forecast looking pretty, feeling great. Lots of sunshine today, 80 degrees and a near carbon copy for tomorrow. And then we start to see more clouds come Wednesday. Temperature still in the lower 80s. Feeling more humid and summer-like by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the mid to the upper 80s, even close to 90 on Saturday.
All right, and a reminder that the news does not end here. Coming up at 7 on WCNC Plus, nearly a year after Hurricane Helene, a group of high school students is stepping up to help. Hear about the event they are doing to help people get back on their feet. Plus, thousands heading home this Labor Day, how extreme weather across the country could impact their trip, and a popular winery vows to rebuild after a fire. The latest on that fire on WCNC Plus. Join us there.
Oh. Hello? I'm talking. Okay.
streaming live at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A live look outside on this Labor Day to you. You can see traffic flowing very smoothly there. This, of course, is I-77 here. It's going to be a great day outside. Perhaps you're going to have a cookout, have the family over. Chris joins us now with the Labor Day forecast.
And it's looking great. I'm going to give you 3 examples about how beautiful it is. For one, we have our Dallas camera, 1,450 feet up in the atmosphere. Of course, the sun already rose up about 3 to 4 minutes ago, but it doesn't mean that you're not seeing those beautiful colors. Check it out. You can see that orb off into the distance, keeping these nice little red, orange to yellow hue on the horizon here in Monroe from on top of the government center downtown. And Lylesville, we have another tower out there, and that's where we put this camera. Beautiful cloud cover. We're seeing a lot of those upper level cirrus clouds, the wispy guys up in the atmosphere. So wherever you look, it's going to be absolutely sensational. So seeing off in the background, also a pink sky from on top of our building. Doesn't get much better than this, y'all. I'm really excited about today. 58 degrees officially is our current temperature. So that is now the coldest low that we've had of the season, and also the coldest that we've been since May 31st. And we're going to be very similar by tomorrow as well. 61 degrees for Morganton, and then 52 degrees right around the Boone area. So for your Labor Day forecast, it's going to be a good one. I'm really excited. We have the mid to the upper 70s. Now, some of us might be wanting the mid to the upper 80s where we should be. Don't worry, I have that in the forecast as well. But if you like really comfortable days, close to 80 degrees, that's today, because most of the afternoons in the mid to the upper 70s. Now, direct sunshine can make you feel up to about 10 degrees warmer. So just like this guy's going, yeah, to your Labor Day forecast. Our muggy meter, not much going on. We have either side of 50 degrees for a dew point. All that means, not to overcomplicate things, is that it feels super comfortable. So we're in that oh so nice range and no problems for Tuesday and Wednesday. But once you get to Thursday, we're feeling it. That air you can wear starts to return. That's also going to correlate to our next big rain chance. That's also going to lead to a warm up as well. But overnight tonight, we're back down to the upper 50s. So back-to-back mornings that are very similar and back-to-back highs that are very similar. I'm serious. Control-C, Control-V as we are copying and pasting our forecast for today heading into tomorrow. Now, beyond that, we do see a subtle warm up for our lows and our highs spiking on Friday heading into Saturday. But in the near term, we don't have a lot to worry about. Rain, don't worry about it. That doesn't really arrive until Thursday. However, there's one exception. If you are somehow about to leave or drive to the Western Carolinas, there's a chance for a few showers around Asheville. Only looking at you, Avery County, you're the only one of our 22 counties that have a chance for a passing shower. The rest of us staying perfectly dry. And Avery, even for you, likely it's a dry day. 20% today. For Thursday, and 20% for Sunday, and then we have better rain chances, I think, heading into the following week as that moisture level is a little bit higher. But looking at our futurecast, I don't have a lot really to report for you. It's either side of the Tennessee border that I think that we could see another round of rain late on Wednesday. But here's the rain chance I have for Thursday. It looks like a little front trying to drop in. This isn't really anything definitive that I'm seeing here. I don't see any major weather system whatsoever. However, that could change by week 2 of the forecast. So it's this time of year that we're heading into the absolute peak. September 10th technically is the absolute pinnacle, the top of the graph for our hurricane season. Whenever you have a wave like this coming off the African coast, it gets into this zone. This is where it usually starts to go through rapid intensification. So this has a really high likelihood of turning over to Tropical Storm Gabrielle and maybe even Hurricane Gabrielle. But I'm not really seeing a big curvature. This is the problem with this. Oftentimes, we'll immediately already start to see this steering out to sea. So this is one that the Lesser Antilles need to watch and us here in the United States need to watch. But again, it's over the next 7 days you have a chance for development. It's really not until about days 8 to 12 of the forecast that it's even a concern for the United States and the Caribbean. Our 7-day forecast, 80 degrees today, that's the bottom. Our lows also the bottom as well today and tomorrow. Then we're back to the mid 80s with that rain chance on Thursday, not a washout again. And then the upper 80s, the hottest day of the week, 89 degrees, close to 90. So some of us will hit 90 degrees on Saturday before cooling back down in the lower 80s with another chance for rain late day on Sunday. Take care. Enjoy your forecast. Now let's get right over to traffic. Pulling double duty today for your Labor Day because guess what? Traffic isn't really an issue, especially on a holiday. And honestly, if you look at the volume of traffic, like look underneath, this is John Belk Freeway. I-77 is already slowing down usually at the 7 o'clock hour. This is where things get chaotic. We have the typical traffic we have at 5 a.m. at 7 o'clock, so that's gorgeous. But it hasn't been all roses and candy because we did have a serious incident that did occur right here on John Belk Freeway. I'm not really seeing any repercussions from this. This is John Belk Freeway, the outer loop, right at the exit to Kenilworth Avenue. That was reported by the fire department, but no new update with that. So again, not a real big traffic issue, but it is definitely worth mentioning. Also, the shoulder is still blocked. Doesn't really look like there's any active construction, but the barrels are still out there. This is I-85 northbound near W.T. Harris Boulevard, but it's not something that's really unusual because this is going to be ongoing as they're constructing 2 new bridges over I-85 through this stretch right around W.T. Harris Boulevard that goes through August 12th of 2026. So yeah, get used to that one. As for the best and worst drive times for your Labor Day and for tomorrow, it's before noon. So this is by the AAA. And then we also have Labor Day forecast for the middle of the afternoon, right between about 1 to 4, usually the worst. And tomorrow, if you're heading back home or doing whatever, 2 to 6 is where it's going to be the busiest. Take care, great drive, and great weather to start off your Labor Day.
Well, speaking of driving, distracted driving, one of the leading causes of crashes in South Carolina. So starting today, lawmakers are taking a new approach to cut down on some of those numbers.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Riches joins us live this morning to explain how this law is going to be enforced and what exactly it means for drivers. Destiny.
Yeah, if you're heading out on the roads in South Carolina, you need to be hands-free when it comes to your phone. That means no holding your phone while you're behind the wheel. And state leaders say this is all about cutting down on crashes that are caused by distracted driving across the state. Now, Governor Henry McMaster signed this measure into law earlier this year. He called it a way to help save lives on the road. The South Carolina Hands-Free and Distracted Driving Act prohibits holding or supporting any mobile device while operating a vehicle. That means no texting, scrolling apps, sending emails, or watching videos or video calls while driving. In 2023 alone, distracted driving contributed to more than 9,000 crashes statewide, including over 2,000 in York County. According to the South Carolina Department of Public Safety. Captain Jim Grayson with the Rock Hill Police says nothing is worth taking your focus off the road.
In South Carolina, thousands of wrecks are contributed to distracted drivers. Whether or not it's on their phone, taking calls, watching videos. If they need to check a call, take a text, whatever, just stop the vehicle, pull over, whatever the case may be. It's just not worth it to risk the dangers of getting distracted while they're driving.
And subsequent offenses within a 3-year period carry a $200 fine and the addition of 2 points to the driver's record. As of today, though, there's a 180-day warning period, meaning officers will issue warnings through February 28, 2026, that's 6 months, before ticketing begins. So the best thing to do is to just remember you just have to be hands-free. So set that GPS or your music and then set down your phone before you start driving, or just mount it and set the Bluetooth so that you can literally be hands-free and set your hands on the wheel where they belong. I'll send it back to you guys.
Just to confirm, if somebody's headed out the door right now, they're watching us in South Carolina, this starts today?
Yes, it starts today. It's just a warning period until February next year. So no official tickets, but law enforcement are going to be looking out for that. There are some exceptions, though. If you're lawfully parked, then it's totally fine. But it's as long as you are in a moving vehicle, as long as you're driving. There's also exceptions for reporting emergencies on the road as well.
And it's really, I mean, if you aren't already being hands-free, you really should, because it's such a distraction. All right, Destiny, thanks so much for that report.
7:09 right now on WCNC Plus, and right now a boil water advisory is in place for Fort Mill and Tega Cay. It started Saturday night because of a water main break on Highway 21 in Fort Mill. For now, officials say you shouldn't drink tap water without boiling it first. Water samples have been sent out for testing, and the advisory will be lifted once those results come back negative for any issues.
In just about 4 hours, Charlotte's Labor Day Parade is going to start in Uptown. Organizers say the annual event honors the hardships and the accomplishments of workers in our community. Since 1999, the parade has featured floats, vehicles, and marchers. It starts at 11 and at Tryon and 9th. We'll keep it right here because we are back in just 2 minutes with more on WCNC Plus.
7:12 now. This morning, we're learning the mayor is calling for a special meeting with local transit leaders this week to address safety and security on light rail.
Now, this comes after a candlelight vigil for 23-year-old Irina Zarytska, the Ukrainian woman who was stabbed to death on the light rail just over a week ago. WCNC Charlotte's Bria Smith was there and has the message advocates are sending to city leaders.
Now, I'm of Haitian descent, so I understand the process of immigration. I understand looking for a better life.
It's like she doesn't have a voice.
Yes.
Tigris McDaniel is one of the vigil organizers and advocate for safer public transportation in the Queen City.
They are.
But first, she says,
Under duress.
she's a mother who feels for victims like Irina Zarytska.
In a war-torn country, she's thinking, okay, I escaped. Can you imagine the joy she felt arriving in America and thinking, okay, I've got my freedom. I can get on this train and go about my business freely. And then her life is taken.
Sunday night was an effort to bring light to the dark acts of violence involving city public transportation and what McDaniel describes as a cycle of mistakes made by city leaders.
These are not like simple petty crimes. You're talking about possession of a firearm by a felon, burglary, robbery with a dangerous weapon, assault on the female, several assaults on the female.
She adds people with a record like Brown's should not have more chances at violence.
I applaud CMPD and the Sheriff's Department for doing exactly what they're supposed to do, because we cannot blame them at all. They have done an upstanding job. They've been arresting DeWan Brown since 2007 consistently.
City leaders and the Metropolitan Transit Commission have called a special meeting for Wednesday, September 3rd to discuss transit system security and safety. In South End, Bria Smith, WCNC Charlotte.
A somber service held in Minneapolis for the Annunciation Catholic community. The Sunday morning mass held in the school's auditorium just 4 days after a shooter opened fire on a church full of school kids, injuring 18 and killing 2. The pastor there offering words of healing and encouragement.
Welcome the dawn of a new day. Here at Annunciation, we welcome the light of a new day. And it's a light that will scatter every darkness. It's a light that will never fade. It's a light not just for us, it's the light of the world.
In the Vatican, Pope Leo also offering a prayer for the victims of the shooting and calling for an end to gun violence.
Well, check this out. Dramatic video from Pennsylvania where a young boy was stuck on a monorail track at Hershey Park. You can see that boy walking along the track. That prompted panic from the onlookers below who saw him.
Hey! Go that way!
You can actually see someone there jump up to help get him off that monorail. Thankfully, it was not operating at the time. Again, that Good Samaritan climbing onto the roof of a nearby building, jumping onto the track to pick the boy up. The child was not hurt. Cheers could be heard by everyone on the ground once that boy was rescued. Of course, many people want to know, how did he get up there? Well, authorities say he somehow went through a secured area for the monorail. He was reunited with his family about 20 minutes after he was reported missing. I can tell you, I've taken the kids to Hershey Park a few times. It's very popular. It's not that high up off the ground, but that's scary. You know, it's the rail, not something that people walk on.
That secure area might not be so secure.
I'm sure this morning or tomorrow morning, people are going to be reviewing that.
All right, we're back in 2 minutes right here on WCNC Plus.
.19 now on this Labor Day, a live look at Myrtle Beach. Doesn't that just look glorious? Beautiful. Perhaps you spent part of your weekend at the beach, or perhaps you know someone who is there. Chris is going to have more on our forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. But right now, we want to tell you about an opportunity this Labor Day weekend to help those still recovering from Hurricane Helene. The Stride Foundation, a nonprofit founded by 3 Weddington High School students, hosted the Carolina Comeback 5K on Saturday at McAlpin Creek Park. That race benefited school communities in Buncombe County, which still face some challenges brought on by the storm nearly a year ago. The teens behind this event say they want to make sure that all students across the state have a memorable school experience.
After all the damage that Hurricane Helene did to the schools in Western North Carolina, we felt obligated to help. The school system here has given us so many opportunities and made such a big impact on us. We wanted to make sure that all students in our community would have the opportunity that we did. So it meant a lot for us to come out and hopefully speed up the process in rebuilding schools and give everyone the education that they deserve.
The 3 students say they plan to do more events in the future that combine their passions for running and community service.
And we are heading to the point of the season that things really start ramping up. It's pretty quiet right now, but in a matter of days, you can go from nothing at all to multiple hurricanes and even major hurricanes. And the exact pinnacle, the exact top and middle of hurricane season is September 10th. This is usually where it's the most active zone. So I think we're going to see a big change. And that's all we also have to watch closely, because anything that makes landfall in the Gulf right along the Carolina coast will immediately change our forecast in the short term. But that's not happening right away. I think right now we're about a week free of any tropical development, but this is going to be the one to really watch. We have a solid tropical wave. This is a little disturbance that I think right in the next 4 to 7 days will start to become a little bit tighter wrapped. And this is a solid chance that this area of orange typically maximizes your rapid intensification. So I think it's a good shot that this is going to be Hurricane Gabrielle over the next 7 to 10 days. And then it's really close to about the 2-week time frame to see if it's going to make its way either back out to sea or if it's going to trend a little bit closer to the United States or even the Caribbean. This is also the start of meteorological falls. September 1st is where we begin here in the meteorological world, because September, October, and November is where we start keeping fall records. That means summer is done. So where do we finish? Actually in the top 10 for the 2nd year in a row. Officially last year was the 9th hottest summer on record, and now that's been bumped down to number 10. Now it's this year, 80.3 degrees. And think about this. We are actually within the top 3 hottest summers after July concluded, and then August couldn't make up its mind. It was all over the place. But realistically, 80.3 isn't too far off from the number 5 spot. So, hey, close enough, right? Here's the August stats to end the month, and then we will focus in on September. 94 was the top. 59 was the bottom, and nothing really stands out too much. 32nd warmest, but the 22nd wettest definitely does. And this could have been much higher as well. Average for the month is over 4.5 inches, 4 1/3 inches actually. And we had 7.57 inches. That should say just that is now done. But our daily rainfall, look at all of those brown blocks at the bottom. That's representing dry days that we finished the month of August with no rain. So it could have been much higher on that list. Real quick look at what's happening around the area. Absolutely gorgeous sunny skies. Your Labor Day is going to be mostly sunny. It's comfortable. It really is a picture perfect day. So get outside and enjoy it. Here's your 7-day forecast. Lower 80s, eventually transitioning to the mid 80s. We're dry over the next 3 days, but we'll see a chance for showers and thunderstorms again on Thursday. And I think we see that again return on Sunday. If you want that summer-like air to return, no worries. It got you covered. Back close to 90 degrees with that hot and humid environment for the first Saturday of September.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for Monday Trivia, and it is Carolina Trivia today, and the clue is this. Yeah, pretty elusive clue. There's just one. The year 1930, a Shell oil service station was built in the shape of a clamshell. In fact, several were built in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, but now there's only one left in the United States and possibly in the entire world. Check it out. This goes back to 1930. That's the way it looked back in those days. It was functioning as a Shell service station, and it's still there on Walltown Street. You can see it. Looks like a clamshell. Only one of those left in the United States, maybe only one in the entire world. That's your Monday Trivia, Carolina Trivia. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Larry, thanks so much. As we inch closer to the start of the NFL season, we are celebrating with a countdown to kickoff special. It will feature one-on-one interviews with Panthers stars like Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, along with the amazing story behind the couple who designs the team's cleats. Join our sports team this Wednesday night at 9 on WCNC Plus, also on WCNC Charlotte for that.
All right, we're going to take a quick break as we take a live look right now over uptown on this Labor Day morning. Looking great out there. We're back here in just 2 minutes on WCNC Plus.
Happy Labor Day, everyone. If you're working or not today, I hope you have a fantastic day because the weather is doing it for you. We have sunshine across the board. Overall, a mostly sunny day, and worse, it will be a partly cloudy couple of hours. So nice and dry. You can see all these people here on this graphic are having a great time. 58 degrees overnight tonight. That was also our low for this morning, about 57, 58 across the Charlotte area. So very similar lows starting off tomorrow, and those temperatures are also going to be very similar for tomorrow afternoon as well. Our 7-day forecast showing a decent one. 81 degrees tomorrow, increasing clouds on Wednesday in the mid 80s. And then, hey, summer's not done yet. 89 degrees, close to 90 degrees for the first Saturday to kick off the first weekend of September. All in all, not too bad. Let's get over to traffic. Not much going on so far this morning as we are taking a look right here at I-77 up and down. We're good to go. This is a South Carolina angle. It's a little bit closer to Gold Hill Road. Not an issue. The only big incident that we had was an incident with injuries. That was the John Belk Freeway right at Kenilworth Avenue. And there's also a little bit of construction lingering over, but nothing major. We'll continue to keep you updated every half hour right here on WCNC Charlotte. We're also live streaming right now, even on the holiday, at WCNC Plus.
are streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30 on this Labor Day. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Check out this beautiful shot. This is down New Smyrna Beach, Florida, a hot Labor Day vacation spot. Lots of people already out on the beach at this point.
This early, my goodness.
They are serious. But listen up, folks. There are dangerous conditions at beaches this busy holiday weekend up and down the eastern coast. The number of water rescues and advisories bringing a dramatic end to the summer season.
As NBC's Dana Griffin reports, people looking to head home after Labor Day could face a treacherous ride.
The last weekend of summer is here. In Southern California, lifeguards jumping into action to save hundreds of swimmers caught in dangerous rip currents from San Pedro to Malibu.
Some 200+ rescues this weekend already?
Yes, we generally see those elevated rescue numbers when obviously on a busy holiday weekend.
Just making sure we keep an eye on those currents and stay vigilant.
As water contamination stretching along both coasts forces closures this week at popular beaches and advisories for nearly a dozen in California. It comes as travelers are bracing for another potentially bumpy day. Floodwaters filling Houston streets and heavy downpours in northern Colorado. In North Carolina and Texas, car crashes shutting down roads and highways this weekend. Look, this time-lapse video shows an ominous storm cloud sweeping over Texas Tech's packed stadium, all happening as people start planning their way home.
Monday is going to be probably one of the busiest days of the weekend. If you're driving, go early in the day if you can. If you're flying, get to the airport early and make sure you have the airline app installed on your phone and you're checking the weather.
6 million are under severe risk of flash flooding in Texas and New Mexico, while heat alerts impact 25 million out west as temperatures rise. And Americans soak up the last weekend of summer.
Well, letting you know, the first weekend of September looks to be great. It's actually warmer than the last couple of weekends that we've had here in the month of August. It's been all over the place. This morning we dropped down to 58 degrees. That officially is the coldest low that we've had since May 31st. And guess what? We're doing it again tomorrow. But it's still a great start to the day. Yeah, even though we're on the cooler side, out the door forecast is chef's kiss. Invigorating air that we have out and about. We are mixing a few more clouds in for this morning, but all in all, I think it's going to be a mostly sunny day. Temperatures into the lower 70s by 11 a.m. And for the afternoon, we're rocking the mid to the upper 70s with an absolute high of 80 degrees. Not a big difference for tomorrow and your Wednesday as far as our high temperatures go, just the lower 80s, but all green spatulas. That means your grill is good to go. No worries about passing showers that could cool down the charcoal. Boy, is that awful when that happens. Today's also the pick of the week. However, I'm doing something different today. This is the pick of the week multiple choice because not everyone enjoys more of the fall-like comfortable air, maybe most of us, but some of you maybe like those hot and humid days and you don't want to see them go. Well, good news for you. This coming Saturday is pick of the week criteria if that is your fancy. For me, I'm down for it feeling comfortable, the most comfortable day of the week at 80 degrees. But all in all, still a lot of great days compared to the crummy ones for most of the week. Now, going forward, you can expect temperatures to range anywhere from about 80 to 89. Yesterday we were at 81. We're at 80 for today. Tonight, overnight, we're dropping down to the upper 50s again, as I mentioned. Tomorrow, almost copy and paste the exact same day. Just a mix of cloud and sunshine at times, lower 80s, and still feeling really comfortable. And that's the main point that I want to make for most of these forecasts. It feels really comfortable out and about. So there's not much really to complain about. Really good weather around that nice range to no problem zone. And then it's going to be a quick little shift after that, because what happens Wednesday heading into Thursday, uncomfortable air, that humid air has a quick rise. It's going to be really humid, muggy air you can wear out of nowhere, which is more of a shock and out of the system because when you have those really comfortable days followed by the humid ones, they almost hit harder. As far as our lows go, since we are seeing the moisture come up, we are going to see our lows come up. Our average low for this day in climatology is actually 67, and we'll be in the mid 60s, so actually pretty normal instead of the below normal ones that we're dealing with. As far as our futurecast is concerned, check it out. We don't have much going on. There is a slight chance for a little bit of rain in the western Carolinas right around Asheville up into the mountains, and then we'll have some passing clouds or two. That's it. not much really to mention. Now, Tuesday does have a little blip of green here in the morning. I think that you're good to go. We have two conflicting systems. That's where you see the clouds coming in different directions. Not really going to be affecting our forecast. Really, our next chance for rain is on Thursday. Heading into Sunday, again, we'll have another chance, but nothing is really definitive here. These long-range models are a little bit chunky, but oftentimes you can see developing systems. I have this little tail of a front that drifts in on Thursday, then we dry out, and then another one arrives on Sunday. But nothing's really definitive. I went into a little bit more detail about our hurricane season earlier on, but another quick update. We are right now tropical system free, but this would be the next one likely on the list, a 40% chance for development right off of the Ivory Coast of Africa. So it's really disorganized right now, but I think it's really by day 4 to 7 this week that we could see this quickly turn into a tropical storm, even a hurricane. So Gabrielle is the next name on the list, then Umberto and Imelda. It's this time of the year that always have to watch closely because a storm can spin up in the Gulf really quickly. We have record warm temperatures that are out and about, and it's typically the I names especially that are retired the most. So I'm watching these three especially. Imelda, looking at you. So hopefully it's not going to be another repeat of a dangerous I name. Our 7-day forecast showing the lower 80s in the near term. We're back to the mid 80s, feeling a little more humid. Come Thursday, there's the top, as I mentioned. If you don't want that summer air to go away, well, it's back in action. Challenging 90 degrees once more on Saturday before another return to the lower 80s. That's your weather. Up next, we have Chris with traffic. Good morning to you, Chris. Well, good morning, Chris. We have a beautiful start traffic-wise as well, because guess what? There aren't a lot of things happening in the traffic world. We had one incident that happened here on the outer loop. Now that has since cleared. So I've been looking at other incidents. We have multiple tools such as SIG Alert and Pulse Alert to see if anything new pops up. Really, it's just been a reduction of icons so far. The last incident that was actually reported was around 6:34. So it's been a really quiet hour overall, but we'll still keep you updated as more starts to roll in. Here is the best and worst times according to AAA to travel today and tomorrow. It's typically before noon today and tomorrow, so it's really quiet start to the day, but during the afternoons, a lot of people are heading home today. 1 to 4 o'clock is where it's going to be busiest on our interstates, especially I-77 to I-85 for us. And then Tuesday, a lot more people are heading home, taking the extra day off. 2 to 6, a wider window of the worst times, at least according to AAA. Drive safely, everyone. I'll have another update of traffic at the top of the next half hour. Weather coming up. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what our winter outlook is looking like. I know we're already thinking about winter, even we just moved it on default. Take care.
All right, Chris, thanks. 7:38 right now on WCNC Plus, and this morning a popular Lincoln County vineyard is vowing to rebuild after being destroyed in a fire. It happened at the Wood Mill Winery. The business posting on social media saying that nobody was hurt and they're not aware of what caused the fire.
In Burke County, several people are dead and an investigation is underway after a fire. Not a lot of details have been released so far. Officials say this happened near the Antioch community yesterday afternoon. County officials also tell us that several dogs were found at that scene and County Animal Services has taken custody of them. There is no word on what caused this fire. All right, folks, keep it right here. We're back in just 2 minutes with more on WCNC Plus. The time is now 7:41. It is time for us to connect the dots. That's when we make the news make sense. ALS is a devastating disease that takes away a person's ability to move and speak. Now, doctors say a brand new approach to treatment is showing surprising results. Doctors are testing a new kind of treatment for ALS, and it's not one size fits all. Let's connect the dots. In a recent breakthrough, a drug was custom built for a patient with a rare genetic mutation. It works by shutting down the faulty gene that causes damage to nerve cells. In one case, the disease slowed so much that a woman regained the ability to walk and breathe on her own. In another case, a man who started treatment before symptoms showed up is still healthy 3 years later. This is what doctors call N-of-1 medicine, therapies designed for just one person. Now the success of these early cases has led to a global trial. It's still early, but researchers say this could open the door for more personalized treatments, not only for ALS, but for other rare genetic diseases too. And that's connecting the dots.
Well, folks hoping to get an updated COVID vaccine this fall may have to jump through some hoops to get it. That's because of new policies implemented by the Trump administration. Evan Krugel explains how the new policies are already having an impact.
On the front door of this Denver Walgreens sits a pledge that the company is here for all your vaccine needs. But if the vaccine you need is the COVID vaccine, you may have to jump through some extra hoops this year to get it.
So my hope was to get one early to mid-September. Now that's very much up in the air.
Jeff Flax tried to sign up for his vaccine in Jefferson County this week.
I tried to schedule through CVS, through King Soopers, and through Walgreens. And all three said that they're not able to schedule at this time.
We tried to schedule an appointment too and got this message saying a prescription would be required.
That really concerned me.
Turns out Colorado is one of 16 states with a law that says pharmacists can only administer vaccines that are recommended by a federal advisory committee, the same committee that was just gutted by Health Secretary RFK Jr. and replaced with new members with anti-vaccine views. If they don't issue a recommendation for the vaccine, Coloradans will have to get a prescription from a doctor to get the shot.
I've been getting my vaccines at my local pharmacy. And so I'm not really sure what my alternatives will be. Doctor's office, urgent care. So I said, going up to Wyoming.
That's right. Wyoming is one of 34 states without a law requiring a prescription. Coloradans can also head to Kansas or Nebraska to get a shot while waiting for potential CDC approval.
So to say that, yeah, we're just waiting for CDC approval. What does that mean? Till this year, that hasn't been a problem. It was pretty perfunctory. Now it's not.
Vaccines are expected to begin arriving in the coming days. That advisory committee is not scheduled to meet again until late next month.
Evan Krugel reporting for us there. Well, when the workday ends, sometimes it doesn't really end. Maybe you're still answering emails, taking calls, or finishing up other things.
Experts call it the infinite workday, a cycle that leaves people feeling like they're never off the clock. And if you're feeling burned out by it, you are not alone. One UVA professor says the all-day, everyday work demands are something a lot of people struggle with.
It's really easy, right, to just get stuck in this, just get on this treadmill. And sometimes that's okay, but we also need to every now and then take stock of okay, what direction am I going in? How am I spending my time? How is that lining up with what I think is important? And then people will see that. Taking stock of what your values are, what your goals are, and then thinking back to okay, how am I spending my time? The idea here is not to be lazy, right? I mean, all of us are working really hard, trying to make the world a better place.
The professor says taking yourself off autopilot and finding downtime is key. I know you and I always say our workday ends before the traditional workday of 4 or 5 o'clock. And so when people are contacting us at 2 and 3 in the afternoon, it's like, guys.
I know. And I mean, you want to be productive.
You want to be helpful.
But at the same time, you have to start drawing specific lines.
Correct.
Because other people don't mind crossing.
Yeah, it extends your workday. All right, we'll keep it right here. We're back in 2 minutes with another update on your forecast for this Labor Day. Are streaming live on WCNC Plus. Time is now 7:48 on this Labor Day morning, the first day of September. This is a live look from Los Angeles. LAX, you see it there, quite a busy airport. A number of people flew to their Labor Day destinations, may be heading back today. If you are, make sure you allow yourself plenty of time to get to the airport. And if you're just getting back in town from the holiday, well, welcome back. We hope that you had a great holiday weekend. Let's check in now with meteorologist Chris Mulcahy to find out more about our forecast for this Labor Day and for the later days in the week.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good looking forecast for today. And today is actually the start of meteorological fall. So I'm going to start talking about winter. What are you doing? Well, what's actually trending online is our winter forecast, because what happens is the Climate Prediction Center releases their extended 90-day forecast, but then specifically we'll have ones for seasons. So since the winter one came out, everyone has been really buzzing online what their winter is going to be like. So we're going to take the internet to you right here on WCNC Plus. Let's start with La Nina. So La Nina, El Nino, La Nada, this is all part of what's called the ENSO cycle. So that's the El Nino Southern Oscillation. Simply put, whatever the water temperatures are around the equator west of South America actually dictates what our seasons can look like here in North America. And that's hurricane season, winter, summer. It's just all dependent. Since we're heading into more of a La Nina pattern, this means that we have cooler water right here around the equator. And the cooler you are below the normal, the more effects and the stronger the La Nina is going to be. So what that means for the United States, well, there's multiple jet streams. There's the tropical jet, Pacific jet, and the polar jet stream. What's going to happen with that is that actually provides a lot more wetter air up in the Pacific Northwest, and it sinks some cooler air for the northern plains. Meanwhile, it also drives in some more moisture for a really wet zone around Ohio, Kentucky, and parts of the Midwest. Meanwhile, that leaves us here warm and dry. Well, mostly warm and dry. Right now, we're barely even into La Nina. It is a negative value, but it's not until we have a difference by over 0.5 degrees Celsius for a difference of the below normal water temperatures where I was showing you in the equator for it's officially La Nina. But there's a 50-50 shot this summer or this winter, can't get past that we are going to be hitting that threshold. So what does it look like? The 2025-2026 winter outlook is showing a slightly above normal winter. That's great news, because what do we average during winter? Well, for meteorological winter, we average around 58 degrees for the start of December, which, by the way, our record keeping is December, January, and February. We level out in the dead of winter during the early to middle part of January in the lower 50s, before we're back to 60 degrees by the end of the season. Breaking that down a little bit more detail, averaging about 55 degrees for our highs in December, lower 50s at 52 around January, and February in the mid 50s. Now, of course, the other part of the equation is precipitation. There'll be a lot more precipitation right here, but we have an equal shot, or at least a 30% chance at below normal precipitation, and boy, has that been the trend. We haven't seen a lot of snow in recent years, but La Nina snowfalls aren't really too extreme. The biggest one that we have seen over the last 25 years was over 6 inches of snow for a given season from 2010 to 2011. But that was a strong La Nina, so likely it's not really going to help our snow impacts whatsoever. So that is your winter outlook. As far as your fall outlook, things are looking really good. Today, though, for your Labor Day, ending with this, the one thing that I had is today is the coolest and also the driest air of the week. Enjoy a sensational, comfortable Labor Day.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Well, since it started, there have been 12 Powerball winners across the Carolinas, with 6 in each state.
But if you become the 7th tonight, do you know all the rules? WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies what you need to know this morning.
Our sources for these questions are Van Denton with North Carolina Education Lottery and the North Carolina Lottery Act, established in 2005. First, if you win the lottery in North Carolina, do you have to disclose it was you? Denton says yes if you win $50 million or more.
You would have 90 days to stay anonymous. It would be a choice. You could go ahead and announce it, and we could have a party and celebrate and invite folks to hear the story of good luck. Or you could wait 90 days and then it would be announced then.
Denton says it's all about transparency.
If the public never knew who won lottery prizes, then that could create suspicions about, are there really winners? Who are they? Are they people of influence or connections? Or are they just regular folks?
Second lottery question, is your lottery prize considered earned income? Yes, it is.
You'll be probably getting the biggest paychecks you've ever gotten.
And finally, how can you obtain your lottery winnings? Denton says you can get paid in a lump sum all at once or once a year over 30 years. To learn more about tonight's drawing, just head to our WCNC mobile app. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
And if there's something you would like us to verify, all you got to do is email us at verify@WCNC.com. Well, right now, the jackpot stands for Powerball at $1.1 billion after no ticket matched all 6 numbers in Saturday's drawing. So today's Labor Day jackpot will be the 5th largest prize in game history.
If a player wins today, they can choose between the $1.1 billion annuity or a one-time sort of lump sum payment of nearly $500 million. Now, both of those are before taxes. Today's drawing will be the 40th since that jackpot was last won. That was back in May in California.
Going back to Megan's piece, the man explaining why they want people to come forward.
Yes.
I guess that does make sense for transparency's sake. I mean, I know some states you don't have to, but
Correct.
I guess if you're a lottery official, you want people to see, yes, a real person did win this, and this person really is,
yes,
now having a big, huge mansion, and I never
There's
thought about
a reason why.
That does make sense.
But if you're that person, if I'm that winner, I don't want the world to know that I've won this much money.
More money, more problems.
More money, more problems. We've heard that one before. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're going to have another update on weather and traffic. Hopefully your Labor Day is off to a great start, and then we'll have more of the day's top headlines streaming at 8 o'clock.
Good morning, everyone. Look at this. Beautiful sky over in Lylesville, and we pretty much have that across the area. Welcome to a sunny to a mostly sunny day. At worst, it'll be partly cloudy for a couple of hours, but your Labor Day is starting off just fine. We did drop down to the upper 50s, back to 60 degrees around Charlotte. Still rocking a lot of the 50s to the north. 50 degrees in Boone, and then Morganton, you've been the warm spot at 62. A little more cloud cover there. Out the door forecast, well, we don't have really a lot to report. Sunrise already happened. Temperatures getting into the early afternoon. It's only in the mid-70s. Today is a really below normal day for Labor Day, but hey, we're not complaining. All these people in the background enjoying themselves. Mid to the upper 70s for most of the afternoon under mostly sunny skies, and it feels great. That's the best part of the forecast, and today is actually the most comfortable day of the week. After that, still a great day tomorrow. Almost the exact same forecast, starting off in the upper 50s, highs in the lower 80s with mostly sunny skies, and then we are warming back up to summertime status near 90 degrees on Saturday. Real quick, let's get over to traffic. Now, not really a lot to mention. We have 60 degrees for that starting point. Absolutely gorgeous for where we're looking right around the North Lake Mall exit here on I-77. Our map is completely blank. There's not an incident happening. We actually are over an hour and a half that we've had an active crash across the area. We'll continue to keep you updated on WCNC Plus and back here on WCNC Charlotte in 30 minutes.
Good Monday morning to you. Happy Labor Day. Just a few moments ago, we showed you LAX out in Los Angeles. Take a look now. This is live pictures from Atlanta. This is Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. This is the busiest airport in the country. We see a few planes there on the runways. Not sure if they're getting ready to take off or if they've just landed, but again, a number of people flying to their holiday destinations. Looks like there's some peaks of sunshine in Atlanta as well.
Thanks for joining us here at 8 o'clock here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A live look outside the roads here closer to home. We'll again, happy Labor Day to you. You can see not a lot of traffic on the roads, of course, because it is the holiday. So I imagine not as many people heading to work, and definitely schools are closed today.
And speaking of roads, distracted driving is one of the leading causes of crashes in South Carolina. So starting today, lawmakers are taking a new approach to cut down on those numbers.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning to explain how that law is going to be enforced and what it means for drivers. Destiny.
Yeah, good morning. If you are prepared to head out on the roads in South Carolina, just be aware that you will not be allowed to hold your phone while you're driving anymore. And state leaders say this is at an effort to crack down on crashes that are caused by distracted driving year after year. Now, Governor Henry McMaster, he signed this measure into law earlier this year, calling it a way to help save lives on the road. The South Carolina Hands-Free and Distracted Driving Act prohibits holding or supporting any mobile device while operating a vehicle. That means no texting, scrolling apps, sending emails, or watching videos or video calls while driving. In 2023 alone, distracted driving contributed to more than 9,000 crashes statewide, including over 2,000 in York County, according to the South Carolina Department of Public Safety. Captain Jim Grayson with Rock Hill Police says nothing is worth taking your focus off the road.
In South Carolina, thousands of wrecks are contributed to distracted drivers. Whether or not it's on their phone, taking calls, watching videos. If they need to check a call, take a text, whatever, just stop the vehicle, pull over, whatever the case may be. It's just not worth it to risk the dangers of getting distracted while they're driving.
Violations carry a fine of $100 for a first offense, and subsequent offenses within a 3-year period carry a $200 fine and the addition of 2 points to a driver's record. As of today, though, there is a 180-day warning period, meaning officers will issue warnings now through February 28, 2026, before ticketing begins. So the best way to comply with this law is just to remember you need to be hands-free. So set that GPS, set your music for your drive before you get going, and then set your phone down, or you can just mount it on a device so that you can be literally hands-free and keep your hands on the wheel. I'll send back to you guys live here from Rock Hill.
And again, the law, it goes into effect now, but they're just doing sort of a grace period with the warnings for the first few months.
That's right. Yeah, it's just a warning period for 6 months. But of course, this is something you want to get into practice now. Texting and driving is a little bit different. That's obviously not allowed, but this is literally any device, any activity on your phone. You cannot be caught with your phone in your hands. There are some exceptions though. You can be lawfully parked and use your phone. And then also if there are emergencies on the road and you need to report that, you're allowed to use your phone for that. But for the most part, just like the rules name, hands-free is the way to go.
All right, Destiny Richards. Thanks so much, Destiny.
8:04 right now, turning back to your forecast with Chris. And Chris, a lot of people have the day off today, and it's going to be a good one.
I know, I'm jealous. Enjoy the day, seriously. Nice mix of cloud and sunshine, but overall I think you're gonna have a mostly sunny one. Dallas camera looking absolutely gorgeous. You can see everything, showing that it's just so bright and beautiful. 60 degrees is a nice little change from our low of 58 degrees for the morning, 61 around Hickory, and then 51 degrees around Boone. This is a big difference compared to just a day ago. We're talking about a 2 to 9 degree change for our lows. Yesterday we had a high of 81. Today we have a high of 80 degrees. That sunshine really going to help us out for your Labor Day forecast. No problems whatsoever, but the mid to the upper 70s with comfortable air, that's as comfortable as you can get, where there's actually a study that I read for the ideal human comfort, and of course every person is different, but the human body actually loves the mid 70s with a light breeze and a mostly sunny sky. That's literally the early part of this afternoon, so enjoy the sweet spot there. As far as our afternoon winds, I think you could have a stray gust up to about 18 miles per hour, but all in all this is categorized as what's called a gentle breeze. That's 7 to 12 miles per hour, so just an occasional coming through. And those winds out of the northeast are actually a little bit cooler out of the south. So that's some good news. As far as our pick of the week status, it's today. I'm not going to bury that lead. Today is my favorite day only just because of how great it feels. But I realized that not every person is the same. Not everyone wants that fall-like weather. So if you love the heat and humidity and you don't want summer to go away, well, I have one for you as well. That's this coming Saturday. I think it's a very similar looking day. Just doesn't feel the same. Feeling more like the lower 90s because of that. But hey, it's going to be a great pool day if you were planning on doing something like that for the first weekend of September. Labor Day stats. This is not a record-breaking one. It's definitely below the norm. The average Labor Day is usually 86 for a high, 66 for a low. Meanwhile, we started off in the upper 50s, and we're barely going to hit 80 degrees today. And the wettest, yeah, we're nowhere near that. So this is actually a really nice Labor Day forecast. But a better look at what's happening across the Queen City. That dew point at 54 is the one thing I really want to focus on. It doesn't get much better than this, because when you have dry air like that, it's just going to be absolutely comfortable. And it's not really typical to have that this time of year, even though we are transitioning into more of a fall-like pattern. But we are going to see a lot of ups and downs as far as this is concerned. Really comfortable range over the next few days, and then it'll start to have that humid air return by about Thursday and beyond. So a better look at our 7-day dew point forecast. You can see that we're starting to pop back up to that humid range for your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we don't really see a big drop in those values until really outside of the 7-day forecast. So c'est la vie, that's what's going to happen on and off throughout this time of year. So enjoy the comfortable air while we have it. Here's what it looks like on our futurecast. I'll roll tape on this. Chance for a few spotty showers further off towards the west and some passing clouds. But other than that, that's your Monday. That's your Labor Day. It's great. Great for grilling. Great for doing anything outside. Football, running, walking, just sitting. It's just a good day to be outside, so make sure to carpe diem, take advantage of the day, seize the day. By tomorrow, we have some passing clouds, but I think we're going to stay dry yet again. Slight chance for rain a little bit further west that you go. It's really not until Thursday and Sunday, and then the following week, that we have that typical pop-up 20% chance for an isolated shower or storm, but nothing really that's widespread. And our long-range futurecast is also painting this picture as well, seeing a little disturbance here for the western Carolinas heading into your Wednesday night, and then this little guy starts to drop down to the south. But it's also heading into the peak of hurricane season. The reason why I mention this is that any low pressure system in the Gulf or out in the western Atlantic could turn into a potential tropical cyclone. Now, not saying that that's going to happen over the next 7 days. Really, the one that the National Hurricane Center is watching is over 2,000 miles away off the coast of Africa. And this little wave is going to take its time developing. But then once it gets into this sweet spot here, it could go through that process of rapid intensification, just like Erin did, where you pretty much watch a storm for over 2 weeks. And this one looks to move mainly off towards the west, northwest, something that we have to monitor because those are the ones that have the better chance to impact in the United States, but nothing is surefire at this point. Instead, we just get to live a great start to September. This is the first week of September, everyone. It literally has something for everyone. If you like those cooler, crisp mornings, we got that. If you like that comfortable air in the upper 70s to 80 degrees, we have that. And if you want summer to return, well, it's here for the first weekend of September. All in all, not too bad. By the way, I do want to mention one more thing. Whenever the Knights are in town, we have these little icons. This is actually the second to last homestand for the Charlotte Knights. So if you wanted to go to a game, maybe this is going to be a perfect week, especially for Tuesday and Wednesday. Now let's move over to traffic. I'm in today for Majestic just because there's not a lot going on. Being honest, Labor Day weekend is still one of the more dangerous weekends for travel. But Labor Day itself, especially in the morning, is usually fairly quiet. As we look at the map, not really much is happening for the time being. We only have one incident that is popping up. And this one looks to be more of a back road incident. Let's see. Let's just double check. This one just popped up. Yeah, this one is one from earlier. So literally not much really happening. We do have a shoulder this block, but this is really nothing new. These barrels have been out there. That's I-85 northbound. A little bit of slowdown if we get more traffic. WT Harris Boulevard. But this is literally a project that's going on until 2026. So not a lot to mention there. Again, that's I-85 northbound that has a block lane. But other than that, that's it. I'm actually actively looking through any reports. Nothing is happening here. SIG alert, everything is clear. Yeah, the last report that I have is actually over 2 hours ago. So everyone's driving safe. That's what we want to talk about. But for your Labor Day, according to AAA, the worst time to travel is going to be 1 to 4 o'clock. That's where the most cars are going to be out. A lot of people enjoying the first part of the day, so they're not really out and about on the roads. So it's best before noon. Drive safely, everybody. Take care.
And Chris, thank you both. 8:10 right now on WCNC Plus. Right now, water has been restored in Fort Mill and TK following a water main break on Highway 21 that caused a boil water advisory that lasted much of the weekend. However, neighbors, you are not out of the woods quite yet. York County officials saying more repairs are needed, which is forcing them to shut off the water. It's happening right now. It's between 7 a.m. and 5 o'clock tonight. So if you're watching this and you live there, you probably already know this. The county government says they are working to fully restore service as soon as they can.
Of course, we'll keep you updated on that one as we learn more. We are going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more news about a special meeting with the mayor that she's called with city transit leaders.
This morning, we are learning the mayor is calling for a special meeting with local transit leaders this week to address safety and security on the light rail.
Now, this comes after a candlelight vigil for 23-year-old Irina Zarutska, the Ukrainian woman who was stabbed to death on the light rail just over a week ago. WCNC Charlotte's Bria Smith was there. She has the message advocates are sending to city leaders.
Now, I'm of Haitian descent, so I understand the process of immigration. I understand looking for a better life.
It's like she doesn't have a voice.
Yes.
Tigris McDaniel is one of the vigil organizers and advocate for safer public transportation in the Queen City.
They are.
But first, she says,
under duress.
She's a mother who feels for victims like Irina Zarutska.
In a war-torn country, she's thinking, okay, I escaped. Can you imagine the joy she felt arriving in America and thinking, okay, I've got my freedom. I can get on this train and go about my business freely. And then her life is taken.
Sunday night was an effort to bring light to the dark acts of violence involving city public transportation and what McDaniel describes as a cycle of mistakes made by city leaders.
These are not like simple petty crimes. You're talking about possession of a firearm by a felon, burglary, robbery with a dangerous weapon, assault on the female, several assaults on the female.
She adds people with a record like Brown's should not have more chances at violence.
I applaud CMPD and the Sheriff's Department for doing exactly what they're supposed to do, because we cannot blame them at all. They have done an upstanding job. They've been arresting DeCarlos DeJuan Brown since 2007 consistently.
City leaders and the Metropolitan Transit Commission have called a special meeting for Wednesday, September 3rd to discuss transit system security and safety. In South End, Bria Smith, WCNC Charlotte.
This weekend marked the first Sunday Mass for Minneapolis' Annunciation Church since that deadly shooting last week. Families gathered for physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. The Mass was held inside the school's auditorium because the church is still closed. The pastor spoke about welcoming the light of a new day and how God will help people during this dark time.
And it's a light that will scatter every darkness. It's a light that will never fade. It's a light not just for us, it's the light of the world. And it is the light of Jesus Christ.
The parents of a 6th grade student say they are taking things day by day right now and that their daughter and her classmates are each at different stages in their healing journey.
It's really been pretty strong, but is definitely afraid, doesn't want to be alone. And it's helped for the kids to get together that have gone through this.
It's still not known when those students at Annunciation will return to school or when the church itself will reopen. Meanwhile, Pope Leo told followers in St. Peter's Square that gun violence needs to end. Appearing before a crowd Sunday morning, the Pope spoke in English as he denounced the attack at Annunciation Church and the violence fueling wars around the world.
Our prayers for the victims of the tragic shooting during a school mass in the American state of Minnesota. We include in our prayers the countless children killed and injured every day around the world. Let us plead God to stop the pandemic of arms, large and small, which infects our world.
Pope Leo's predecessor, Pope Francis, had long railed against gun violence, often calling gun manufacturers merchants of death. Well, check this out. A shocking scene for kids at a Chuck E. Cheese. One minute they are just having fun, and then all of a sudden, police rush in and put Chuck E. Cheese in handcuffs.
Take a look at the whole thing caught on police body camera.
Chucky's a little bit busy, ma'am. Chucky, come with me, Chucky. Come on. Come with Chucky. Chucky, stop resisting. Stop resisting. You're being detained. Stop resisting. Let it go. Let it go. Do not cause a scene here, sir. I got mine. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to talk to you in a minute, okay? We got to do our job, ma'am. It's not my call, ma'am. Come on. I'm gonna talk to you in a minute and let you know what's going on, okay? I'm gonna pat you down, okay? What's that? What's in your pocket here? Just your wallet and stuff? Does this come off, man? Some fraud stuff with the credit card. Have you been using anyone else's credit card anywhere?
No, sir.
Have you been shopping lately with a credit card?
No, sir. Only card I use is my own Cash App. That's it.
So you don't use a credit card?
So that was police arresting 41-year-old Jermel Jones. He was working back in July when Tallahassee police came in and accused him of using a stolen credit card. You heard Jones denied all of it. Police say the victim's credit card was found in his back pocket. Yikes.
I'm just thinking about what those kids were thinking, seeing Chucky being arrested.
I mean, police have to do their job. I get it, but
that's tough.
I would have hoped there would have been a better way than that, but maybe there wasn't. Maybe there wasn't. And maybe the parents came up with a good story to tell the kids.
I mean,
you know, that he's okay now, and just there was a mix-up.
You gotta think about
I know.
that one. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more right here on WCNC Plus in just 2 minutes.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Here's what's going on. It's fall, y'all. Well, technically, if you look at your calendar, it's summer. But us meteorologists, we have to complicate things, or are we simplifying? But instead of having changing dates every year, we separate 3-month chunks for the technical season. So summer is June, July, and August, and meteorological fall is September, October, and November. 86 is how we start off the season today, and then you're back down to the upper 70s to start off October. You start off November at about 68 for an average high. That's the average room temperature, by the way, and then 58 by the end of the month. So it's a slow step down. As far as how summer finished, it wasn't anything too crazy as far as precipitation goes, even though August was quite wet. But this is officially is the 9th hottest summer of Charlotte's history, and that dates back to 1879. And we actually fell down this list pretty rapidly to end August just because it was so chilly just in general. One of the coolest that we've had on record. So speaking of, here is the last time I'm going to be mentioning August 2025. The hottest temperature, 94. The lowest, 59, which, by the way, we hit 58, so we've already outdone the chilliest August day. And the hottest that it felt was 102. That was earlier in the month. And then the average overall, it's the 32nd warmest on record and then the 22nd wettest on record. But it was heading towards a very, very wet month that we had well over where we should be for this time of year. It's 22nd wettest, as I mentioned. The average for August, which, by the way, is typically per climatology the wettest month, 4.35 inches. Well, we had over 7.5 for the month. But check this out. All of the green tiles here are days that it rained. And back on the 5th, we had 2.5 inches of rain alone. And then since the 25th, so that means a solid week of dry weather, we didn't finish with a drop of rain at Charlotte Douglas International Airport. So that's why we quickly fell down that list and didn't have as wet of a start by far. Our Carolina Camera Network by Mr. Sparky is looking absolutely gorgeous. Lots of sunshine to go around. Beautiful blue skies, a lot of upper level clouds. At times it could look partly cloudy, but it's just really just going to be picture perfect across the board. So I'm super excited about this. So you should start getting excited as well. Here's wrapping this up with a 7-day forecast. Notice in the upper right corner, our new average is 86. We're slightly below that in the lower 80s, and then back to around 90 degrees on Saturday. So it's going to be hot beginning to the first weekend of September. Enjoy it. We'll be right back here on WCNC Plus here in a few moments. We'll see you soon. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Labor Day. Temperatures are in the lower to the mid 70s to end the morning and begin the afternoon. It really is going to be a picture perfect day, so get outside and enjoy it. Really nothing to worry about. just a few passing clouds. So at worst, it'll be a partly cloudy day from time to time, but mostly sunny skies taking over. Overnight tonight, it's going to be another chilly one. We dropped down to the upper 50s this morning. We're going to do it again tomorrow morning with a sunrise time right around 6:57. So yeah, we have a really great forecast on the way. And check out our first 7 days of September. Welcome to September, y'all. This is also the start of meteorological fall, so definitely feeling it. Today is the most comfortable day by far. We are not having a humid day until Thursday. That's where you really notice the difference of the atmosphere, and that's where temperatures are jumping as well. Look at this, mid to the upper 80s, feeling it. Most days are on the sunnier side, though. We will see some increasing clouds on Wednesday, another chance for a shower or storm on Thursday, and then we do that again on Sunday. But all in all, this is a 7-day forecast and first week of September that all of us can enjoy no matter what your preference is. Let's head over to traffic. I'm also pulling that duty and happy to say that both weather and traffic are cooperating to start off the day. Our current temperature 60 degrees, feeling great, feeling invigorating to start the day. So hopefully you are ready for a sensational Labor Day. The one icon that you see on the map, guess what, has now cleared. So we are accident free still across the map. Of course, I'll let you know when that changes. We'll be back here in 30 minutes, but live stream right now on WCNC Plus.
Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Happy Labor Day out there, everybody. And check out this beautiful shot. This is Cape May, New Jersey for the Labor Day weekend, extended weekend on the beach there. But listen, there are dangerous conditions at beaches up and down the East Coast this holiday. A number of rescues and water advisories bringing a dramatic end to the summer season.
As NBC's Dana Griffin reports, people looking to head home after Labor Day could face a treacherous ride.
The last weekend of summer is here. In Southern California, lifeguards jumping into action to save hundreds of swimmers caught in dangerous rip currents from San Pedro to Malibu.
Some 200 plus rescues this weekend already?
Yes, we generally see those elevated rescue numbers when obviously on a busy holiday weekend.
Just making sure we keep an eye on those currents and stay vigilant.
As water contamination stretching along both coasts forces closures this week at popular beaches and advisories for nearly a dozen in California. It comes as travelers are bracing for another potentially bumpy day. Floodwaters filling Houston streets and heavy downpours in northern Colorado. In North Carolina and Texas, car crashes shutting down roads and highways this weekend. Look, this time-lapse video shows an ominous storm cloud sweeping over Texas Tech's packed stadium. All happening as people start planning their way home.
Monday is going to be really probably one of the busiest days of the weekend. If you're driving, go early in the day if you can. If you're flying, get to the airport early and make sure you have the airline app installed on your phone and you're checking the weather.
6 million are under severe risk of flash flooding in Texas and New Mexico, while heat alerts impact 25 million out west as temperatures rise. And Americans soak up the last weekend of summer.
Now let's turn back to your forecast for this Labor Day holiday with Chris.
All right, well, we're just going to do the 7-day forecast because my computer is frozen. But you know what? This is why you're here, right? We have the temperatures that are stuck in the lower 80s over the next couple of days. So we have actually a copy and paste like forecast that's going on. 83 degrees with a mix of cloud and sunshine for your Wednesday. And then temperatures on the rise. We should be averaging about 86 degrees for this Labor Day and then this time of the year for the first days of September. But we're a little bit below that, but no complaints whatsoever because it actually feels great. We are seeing a nice little warm up though to around 90 degrees. The typical last 90-degree temperature that we have across the Charlotte area is usually around September 12th. So we still will have a chance. And the latest that's ever happened is October 13th. So this little spike that we have to around 90 degrees, I'm not saying it's going to be the end all or the last day that we're around this temperature, just letting you know that these type of days and surges to the upper 80s and around 90 are going to become less and less going forward overall. And also the real feel is going to be amazing as well. A beautiful looking day and a beautiful feeling day overall. I think my computer finally unfroze. There we go. Okay, so for our muggy meter, we are dealing with a really nice forecast. I'm liking where things are going. It's either side of 50 degrees for a dew point. And if you watched me before, it might be ad nauseum that I'm talking about these dew points, but it's really the best way to measure about how we feel, not relative humidity, because the higher this is, the more uncomfortable we feel. The drier this is, the lower it is, well, the more static electricity we have during the winter time. Which, speaking of, I'm going to have your winter outlook, believe it or not, because it was just issued by the Climate Prediction Center. That's coming up here in about 15 minutes on WCNC+. But the How You Feel cast is at a great range. Today is the lowest. Today is the best feeling day that we have over the next 7, and it still feels amazing for your Tuesday and Wednesday, but the moisture values are starting to come up. It's just like we ended last week, that it was starting to feel a little bit sticky by your Saturday, and then things started to trend down as well. Where Saturday hit 86 degrees, this coming Saturday could be a whole lot hotter going forward. This is also going to affect our lows. We can expect temperatures to be in the upper 50s by tomorrow morning. That's where we started off this morning as well, and then back to the mid 60s for this coming weekend. Now let's talk about our near-term rain chances. They're at a 0 for Charlotte at least. We do have a few spotty rain showers further off towards the west, but not much is actually happening with this. So a spotty shower or two, but all in all, we're staying clear. Some passing clouds over the next couple of days, but that brings us through Tuesday with a whole lot of nothing. The only one that's really standing out in the near term is Thursday. I think Wednesday night, Thursday night is our best chance for rain this work week. Then it's Saturday night and then again late on Sunday that we have a chance for storms, but these are 20%. This is for the entire area. So that means only 20% of our viewing area from the mountains through Charlotte can expect this. So I think it's very minimal. And you do have a lot of green dancing here on the map, but it's nothing that's really surefire. I'm not really seeing a nice developed system that's like, oh, this is coming. Now, this is the reason why Thursday is a little bit higher. See that? You can see almost like curve to it. That is a front that starts to descend on the area, meeting some moisture. So again, Thursday, I think, is our best chance for rain in the near term. Quick look at the tropics before I wrap things up. 40% chance for development. This would be Tropical Storm or Hurricane Gabrielle, if this is named, and I think it's a good shot, especially by the end of that 7-day period, because right in that little orange spot is usually where the highest development. It's this time of year, September to October 10th, that we have the most hurricanes and also some of the most historic hurricanes as well. So even though it's quiet for right now, it could be in a matter of days things really start to break loose, and that's something that will continue to keep you updated in the near term. I'll see you again here in a few minutes talking about our long-range outlook for both fall and for winter. See you soon. But first, I have to do traffic. I almost forgot. Hello, here's your traffic anchor, Chris Mulcahy, back to my old stomping grounds. We still only have one icon that's on the map, and guess what? that's not doing anything. It's on a back road. It hasn't been a major issue whatsoever. And the last incident that I had reported was at 6:34. So the traffic world has been quiet. It's been dormant and no complaints there. Now the shoulder is blocked here at I-85 northbound, but this is nothing new. This isn't because of a crash. This is because of construction that's going on until August 12, 2026. So nothing really to mention. Our typical drive times, and this is by AAA, the worst travel time is between about 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., but before noon is the best, aka right now, as you're out on the roads, there's not really much going on. Before noon, also for your Tuesday, is the best time. Tuesday, the most problematic travel times is going to be between about 2 and 6 o'clock. One last look at the roads, how they're looking. Temperature at 60 degrees with sunshine. Oh, that's a great start right here around Nations Ford Road. Really, this is the amount of traffic that we have around the 5 to 6 o'clock hour. So it really shows that the Labor Day traffic, people are really taking it easy, and that's what we like to see. Take care.
All right, Chris, sounds good. 8:37 now. In about 2.5 hours, Charlotte's Labor Day Parade is going to start in Uptown. Organizers say this annual event honors the hardships and the accomplishments of workers in our community. Since 1999, the parade has featured floats, vehicles, and lots of marchers. It starts at 11 this morning at Tryon and 9th.
All right, 8:37 right now. We're back here on WCNC Plus in just 2 minutes.
The time is now 8:40. Some of the top colleges in the country are finding new ways to screen high school students before they are accepted, not based on more test scores or grades or even extracurriculars, but instead on how civil they are. NBC's Rahima Ellis takes a closer look.
Students returning to college campuses after years of turmoil.
And protests have fueled hate speech.
With some elite schools in President Trump's crosshairs.
They want to show how smart they are, and they're getting their ass kicked.
Students are not getting along, faculty's not getting along.
And in this environment, schools are looking to adapt, meaning students may face a new challenge before even getting in.
One of the ways that colleges are trying to address this is to start screening for it a little bit in the admissions process.
Those applying to some top colleges this fall could see some new questions. Last year, Harvard added a prompt following some Ivy League competitors. Tell us about a moment when you engaged in a difficult conversation or encountered someone with an opinion or perspective that was different from your own. And now students can opt to submit a new so-called portfolio when applying to at least 6 other colleges, measuring qualities related to civility.
I think the universities, yes, they are interested in students having that practice, having built that muscle.
That's Saul Khan, who created Khan Academy, the massive tutoring nonprofit. Now he has a new pilot program called Dialogues, hosted on the peer tutoring platform schoolhouse.world, where students can disagree with each other and learn from it, logging hours they've spent in discussions over Zoom where they debate each other on hot topics, from gun control to immigration and the Israel-Palestine conflict.
It's so easy for us to get stuck on social media or sometimes see things on TV where people are yelling at each other. We're all in our own bubbles. But to see young people actually model how the rest of us should be. That's what gave us confidence to make this a broader program.
Afterwards, students receive reviews from their peers, rating them based on their virtues like how curious or even how kind they were in a session. Then a portfolio of reviews can be submitted to schools for consideration, although it's not clear how much weight they have in admissions. We reached out to the 6 schools Khan lists as partners and were not granted interviews.
I saw that this was another application component, and I thought, this might be another way to just show who I am.
John Sargent is a high school senior from Illinois. He's hoping to attend the University of Chicago next year, one of the schools considering these portfolios.
I love discourse. I love debate. If that's a way to strengthen the application for that school, most certainly.
The idea for Dialogues initially coming together because of Khan's conversations with University of Chicago's Dean of Admissions, Jim Nondorf, who told Ed Week he wants to accept students that, quote, add to the conversation on campus, but do it in the right way. Critics argue new platforms like this are just another way for the affluent to game the system. The New York Times running a guest essay from a sophomore at Harvard titled, Elite Colleges Have Found a New Virtue for Applicants to Fake. After that published, Vanderbilt and MIT, which once signed on to accept civility portfolios, reversing that decision. Vanderbilt saying in part it ended the pilot after careful consideration and hearing some concerns. MIT did not explain its decision to NBC News, but said it's committed to developing in our students a capacity to listen openly and disagree respectfully.
It is actually very hard to fake authenticity.
Responding to critics, Khan says submitting the optional portfolios is like disclosing volunteer hours and that other parts of applications can be unfair.
A lot of affluent kids can hire coaches. I'm a big fan of things where it's just you and a couple of other folks, and you're forming a real human connection.
But that human connection not always an aspect of some new AI tools, also meant to improve civil discourse. One professor at Carnegie Mellon created Sway, a free AI-based chat platform that moderates students' discussions, interjecting if things get too hot. In the past, many college prep experts advise students to avoid hot-button topics, but now some changing their tune.
When you make an investment to be purposeful about your growth and to cultivate these qualities that, again, we can all agree are positive qualities, it kind of works out.
If it's even possible to measure civility and whether colleges trying can heal a fractured society, still very much up for debate.
Rahima Ellis reporting for us there. Keep it right here. We're back in 2 minutes on WCNC Plus.
8:47 now. This morning, some forecasters are already looking ahead to something that could impact our weather this winter.
The latest national weather forecasts show La Nina has a more than 50-50 chance of emerging this fall and then sticking around for much of winter. Chris joins us once again. And so explain to us exactly what does this mean for folks here in the Carolinas come wintertime?
Good news, actually, but we are getting ahead of ourselves, just like the pumpkin spice latte. We're talking about winter when we technically just started meteorological fall. But what this means is whenever there's cooler water right here around the equator west of South America here in the Pacific, this officially starts La Nina. Now, it has to be 0.5 degrees Celsius below the normal temperatures there for the time of year. And this is what it does to the jet stream, because that cooler air completely changes the flow of the atmosphere. That allows for a lot wetter Pacific Northwest, but because we have the Pacific jet just to the north, it actually keeps drier air locked and loaded for the southern part of the United States. That can lead to some drought, especially in the southwestern U.S., but it usually leads for most of the Carolinas to be warm and dry. So good news there. The most recent update, because it's 3-month averages that they have here for either La Nina, El Nino, or La Nada, we're technically right in the middle of La Nada, but we are trending towards this general direction. I think maximum we get to around a negative 0.5 degrees Celsius. That's really not a huge impact. But here's what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for. The 2025-2026 winter outlook for December, January, and February has a 30% chance to be above normal. Now, note our normal highs during winter, and that's factoring in December, January, and February, starts at 58, drops to 52, before we're back to 60 degrees come the end of February, which if you've ever lived to the north, anything north of Kentucky, this is amazing because sometimes you have average highs at freezing, say around Michigan up into Wisconsin. And then the 2025-2026 winter outlook for our precipitation is actually trending to be a 30 to 50% chance of being below normal. That would be less snow. That'd be a drier atmosphere all in all. So La Nina is actually really good for us. Now, if you want the snow, it's not so much. So I went back and looked at all of the La Nina snowfalls in recent years, the times that were at least a week La Nina. Now, you have had many years that have gotten up to 4 inches of snow, but you have other ones that's been just a trace or less than a half an inch. The most notable was 2010, 2011, where you had 6.1 inches. Well, guess what? That was a very strong La Nina, which is not going to be our case. So I think it will be a average to a below average snowfall, something that we've been used to regardless of what the Enzo cycle is. Moving on to our local forecast and talking about fall, y'all, because that's what exactly it feels like. We have lots and lots of sunshine. And by the way, here's our dog of the day, or should I say dogs of the day. This is Frank and Bean, or Franks and Beans, as Krista calls them. Look at these two pooches living their best life, celebrating their Labor Day in great fashion, and then we're pumping up the music. There it is. Lots of sunshine, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures in the mid to the upper 70s. Great for staying outside and maybe grilling up some Franks and Beans. Enjoy your day outside just as our two dogs of the day are enjoying. Krista, thank you so much for sending these two wonderful dogs along. We'll have, of course, another dog of the day or pet of the day by tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Cody, our director, for ramping up the music. Appreciate you. 89 degrees is going to be our top. So we are not done warming up to more summer-like temperatures. Today's a little bit more fall-like, back to that summer surge, feel more humid during that time frame before we're yet again back to the lower 80s. This is a kind of a typical swing that we have to start off September. A lot of summer, fall, and then our lows averaging right around the mid-60s before we fall to the lower to the mid-60s to start the second week of September. But all in all, that's not too bad. And nothing's really standing out for any precipitation. We'll have a chance for a shower and some thunderstorms on Thursday. We do that again on Sunday, and then much better chance heading in the latter part of next week. But as I mentioned earlier, it's also heading to the peak of hurricane season, so any developing system nearby could have a secondary effects or direct effects here to the Carolinas, but at least none of that over the next 7 days. Take care and enjoy this wonderful, sensational Labor Day.
Looks great, Chris. Thanks so much. Well, check this out. A huge honor for the legendary R&B band New Edition. That's right. Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, Ralph, and Johnny now have their own day and street in the city of Boston. And they were all on hand for a huge block party to kick it off.
And now I have the honor of officially declaring today New Edition Day.
I'm just going to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for coming out today and supporting what this thing is. The New Edition way is the way life is for us and has been for us for a long time.
We did it, huh? Everything we learned, every way, the way that we are, our attitude, our swag, is from all of y'all, man. We got what we got from here. One of the hardest things in this industry to do is to stay together. And, we've been through so much together in the industry and internally with each other. And the things that keeps bringing us back together is we all remember where we came from.
Orchard Park Projects was the very beginning of New Edition. And I just want to embrace every one of y'all with a hug.
You're looking at all 6 of us here. Just want to remind you, that someday nothing lasts forever, and we're not going to always be here forever. But while we're here, not only just us, then we should learn to love on each other, appreciate each other, and know tomorrow's not promised.
There's something about this city that's different than any hood in any other city. We stick together, we rep together, and we're always going to be one. One love to Boston, y'all.
Man, I used to love
Make
them.
you feel old?
Yes, right? Loved New Edition.
they don't
Still
look quite
do,
the
but I'm
same.
saying.
DeVoe, I think he
Bill
was on.
Biv DeVoe.
But he was on Charlotte Today a few months ago.
Was he?
I think it was DeVoe.
Okay.
Yeah, he and his wife were on talking about, I forget what they were talking about, but they were on. I'm like, oh wow, yeah.
Okay. Good for them. Get on the street.
I know. Bobby Brown. Been a while.
Bobby. All right. Well, as we inch closer to the start of the NFL season, we are celebrating with a countdown to kickoff special. That's right. It's going to have one-on-one interviews with Panthers stars like Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, along with the amazing story behind the couple who designs the team's cleats. Make sure you join our sports team this Wednesday night at 9 o'clock right here on WCNC Plus. We'll also have it on WCNC Charlotte. Check that out.
All right, live pictures right now over Up Down. Here's hoping you're having a leisurely start to your Labor Day Monday. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus throughout the day.
Good morning, everyone. Check this out. Just a contrail, some upper level clouds over here in Lylesville. It is a gorgeous day today, and enjoy a great feeling Labor Day. Temperatures back up to 66 degrees. Heading into the 9 o'clock hour, 63 in Statesville, 53 in Boone, and then 65 in Morganton. Morganton's been the warm spot for much of the morning, but Charlotte just passed it. And now our Labor Day forecast, it doesn't get much better than this. We have the lower 70s here a couple hours from now, 76 by about 1 p.m. And then we're talking about the upper 70s for a good chunk chunk of the afternoon, barely touching that 80-degree point. It feels great. So if you like more of the fall-like weather, well, today is your pick of the week. If you're more of a summer fan, well, we're back to actually 89 degrees, believe it or not. So that's going to be great. It's going to be a chilly morning starting off tomorrow in the upper 50s, and the How You Feel cast, well, feeling great as well. Let's get right over the traffic. There's only one thing to mention. There is one single incident that we have here on the map, which, by the way, it's the best time to drive right now. We have around South Tryon Road, so drive safely, everybody. That is not a big issue for the time being, and the only incident of the last hour here at Peterson Drive.